Hello, hello, hello. I am your host, Teddy Flacco. This is Headlines Only. And today we have a very special guest on today. This is a personal friend of mine, Kevin Rakunas. He's an electrician. He has a bit of college experience. And today, we're here to talk about AI. We're just here to talk about some AI. Um, is AI stealing our jobs? When's it gonna steal our jobs? Shit like that. So we're doing some bold, unfiltered takes on on artificial intelligence. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get into the top AI headlines this week. The United States Senate overwhelmingly rejects AI regulation ban. They actually voted 99 to 1 to remove a provision from a bill that would have imposed a 10-year moratorium on state AI regulations. This was seen as a victory for those who want to see responsible AI governance and the blow to big tech companies who had advocated for the federal ban. I don't know, Kevin, what do you think about this?
I think that's pretty fair. Um, I mean, nowadays with AI, look at 4 or 5 years ago, there was, things that didn't look human. It was very kind of like choppy, um, where it was just pieced together with images, and it looked pretty like, I don't know, futuristic, but not realistic. Nowadays, you have videos that can be replicated with Google AI that look nearly one to one, pretty close to people. So I could see a 10-year ban on using it in like big tech companies, but I think the general populace should probably have some access to it. I think ChatGPT's been great. I do think that the Google AI video editor has been great. It's good for creating content. It's good for, um, you know, asking questions, but I do think that if it was used in the wrong hands or the wrong purpose, there could be lots of problems with that.
Now, let me ask you this. What do you use AI for mostly?
I mostly use AI in terms of like Chat GPT, asking questions. Sure, you can do your own research, and Chat GPT lets you follow up on the research that it has done by giving you links to sources that it pulls from. But it's also an easy way to come across information that you're readily interested in or have questions towards, like psychology or chemistry or electrical problems, for instance.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like me personally, man, I'll use AI for everything. I'll use AI to make a cover letter. I'll use it to improve like my resumes. Shit, I'll use AI to talk to people. If I'm just in a conversation and I don't know, I want to sound more interesting. I'll just
Hmm.
use AI to talk to people, take a screenshot of the convo. All of a sudden, I'm the most interesting man in the world. Like,
True.
I use AI. Sometimes I'll just take a picture of some shit where I don't know what's going on. Like like my headphones that I'm wearing right now, the little ear pads I'm wearing out, and I literally
Hmm.
just took a picture. I asked ChatGPT, I was like, what do I do? And ChatGPT was like, oh, you could just buy some new ear pads for like 20 bucks and replace them. So like I use like I've been using AI. Yeah, I've been using AI for everything. Um but that was like the policy and regulations for AI. Let's get into the industry developments. Meta. Oh, I saw a headline about this. Meta pursues top AI talent. Reports indicate that Meta is offering lucrative compensation packages to lure AI researchers, including some from OpenAI, as it expands its AI efforts. This has sparked discussion about the escalating talent war in the AI field. Did you? I saw a post. I saw a post on Instagram. Who was the guy? Like some Asian dude signed like a $20 million contract or something. Did you hear about
Was
this?
was that the Nvidia CEO? Because I know
No,
NVIDIA has been really forward in the arms race for AI.
hold on, I'm pulling this shit up right now. Um, man, what was that dude's name? He signed this huge contract, and he was just like an AI researcher or something. Like I swear it was like 20, like this Instagram. Man, he signed like a $20 million contract, and he was just an AI researcher.
I mean, it's fair for him to have some $20 million bounty, I guess, on AI research because, you know, I remember maybe like 7 years ago or something, just before like the boom happened, Elon Musk talked about AI using like facial recognition to send bomb drones into buildings, like crazy shit like that, you know? Like there was a clip of him talking at a press release where he basically said, some guy asked him like, "Oh, what could you do now with AI in terms of war?" And he said, "Oh, you could have a bunch of mini drones with small amounts of C4 on them and have a target in mind that has AI facial recognition to recognize a certain target's face and send a dozen bombs at him," which seems kind of crazy to me, but with how warfare has been going and political assassinations, sure. I mean, I could see that as becoming like a very real possibility, you know?
Now, what do you make of that? Somebody using AI to to like kill somebody. Like, do you feel like there has to be any human input in that, or do you think it's fair to just have them slaughtered with a solely automated system?
I mean, you know, uh, I'm kind of 50-50 on the idea because warfare, as it's developed, originally it was, human on human always. And then as things got more expansive and technology grew, we went from, you know, pre-World War I, where there was no tanks, no planes, no like giant explosives that you could drop on people. And then World War I comes around and suddenly you have tanks with machinery and, you know, um, planes that could drop bombs on the enemy or shoot Gatling guns at the enemy. And warfare ever becomes more expansive. So if it will decrease the cost of American lives being lost, sure, I'm all for it. Like, perchance, Boston Dynamics, their new Atlas robot, like the humanoid one that stands up and does things. I'm sure they could make that thing shoot and target enemies on a battlefield. Um, but I don't know. I also think that prior to this AI boom, it's always been some kind of operator behind the thing, like operator behind drones or operator behind a guy who shoots a Hellfire missile miles in the sky, you know? So I do think there is some disconnect between the humanity of it, but I also see the benefit of having like people not be there in terms of getting hurt.
Yeah. I mean, the way I see it, I don't really have an issue. Like, I don't know, let's say there's like a guy operating a remote drone.
Hmm.
I feel like I just don't want the drone to be 100% automated, you know? Like there still has to be a guy making that final because I don't know, for me, like taking a life, it's a spiritual thing, you know? Like just like just offing somebody and like there wasn't even, some algorithm was just like, just often and like there wasn't even a guy. Like that's not gonna weigh on anybody's conscience, you know? Like I don't know, man.
I mean, I think it weighs on the conscience of whoever either programmed it or whoever was the one to deploy it. Like, for instance, Robert J. Oppenheimer, who created like the atomic bomb before the Nazis did, it weighed on him the weight of creating such a devastating artifact like that. But in total, the guilt isn't just spread on him, it's spread on the entirety of the US military industrial complex, you know? Like everyone that went into giving that team millions of dollars in research in order to develop the atomic bomb, they're all shared in terms of the war, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You have a point there. I don't know. Maybe for me, I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. For each individual killed, like I don't want to say like I want people to be haunted by like every person they slaughtered, but I feel like you should at least meditate. Like like you should be able to meditate upon, each person like I've never killed anybody, but if I
Me
did,
either.
I'd want to be able to appreciate the fact that I've ended someone's life. Um, but let's get into do you think this AI market with the stocks, with Nvidia, with all those things, do you think it's overhyped or do you think it's like right where it needs to be?
That's a good question. I think that there's some hype to it. I think there's a little bit of overhyping, but I do know that, you know, 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, plenty of jobs are going to disappear to automation AI, you know? You don't need people necessarily in every role. Like the only roles that I can see that are AI proof, quote unquote, is like trades, things where people need to get in the ground, dig up dirt, build stuff, build houses, build data centers, build apartment buildings, things like that. I think the trades are going to stay, but I can see a lot of other things being replaced. And I think if you get in now in like a stock market representation towards companies that have AI development, it's going to look pretty good for you. Just my opinion.
Yeah, no. AI is already fucking me, bro. I literally went to a coding boot camp as AI, and they're like, "Oh, you get out of this boot camp, you'll be making 70, 80K a year." And I get out and there's no entry level positions. And they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, all the entry level positions are being replaced with AI now. So good luck at that, buddy." And I was like,
Hmm.
"Wow." Yeah, I mean, like it's literally taking jobs. Like, bro, that's why I'm making this podcast, bro. Because like I was lucky enough to find a job now, like, but it's not even what I went to school for, really. I'm repairing computers, hardware. Most of the shit I learned was software stuff.
Hmm.
So, um, but yeah, I mean, like that's a main proponent for why I'm making this podcast because like I'm sitting around thinking I'm like, what if AI takes all the jobs and like the only shit that's left for people to do is like fucking like just be like a content creator or something, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of people that are, you know, there's plenty of success in it, but I do think that if you want something that's kind of foolproof, that's been foolproof since they've been stated, look at unions, look at trades, look at like big group structure in terms of like job market stuff. I think that's the best thing that anybody now, any young people that would be listening, can get into. You know, college degree takes anywhere from 2 to 16 years if you really want to be like a doctor or something. You know, you got 4 years of doctorate, 4 years post grad, 4 years like medical residency, you know. So I think there's plenty of stuff that has a high enough skill ceiling that people can get into. Um, Lawyers, doctors, but if you're just like a average person, you know, I think the best thing you can do is probably get in a skilled trade. They teach you everything. School and whatnot is kind of paid for by the institution, the system set up. Um, so you get to have a big wealth of knowledge. And if you really don't like it, you know, put 5 years of your life on the line, get the apprenticeship, put another 5 years in and get a lot of experience. And then, hey, if you really want to, go make your own business with that kind of thing. Um, it's definitely a good option for people. you know. And I think
Yeah,
it gets around the workaround of what AI is going to be replacing.
yeah, yeah, for sure. No, that's a really quality answer because yeah, like I always it keeps me up at night sometimes. I'm like, how far are they gonna take this AI shit? Like, because like you hear this term thrown around a lot these days, this universal basic income. And me
Hmm.
personally, I don't fucking want to live off a universal basic income. I wanna do some shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't like, oh, that's Teddy, he doesn't do shit, so we just pay him because he can't produce anything of value. So we literally just give him money to
Yeah,
fucking
true.
exist. Like fuck that, bro. I don't want that.
You want to work for your money. I get it.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, look, here's a question.
Hmm.
What's the weirdest thing you've asked AI?
Weirdest thing. Oh man, I don't know. That's a good question. Um, Probably some deep ponderance on questions of the universe, you know? I mean, I'm not an astrophysicist, so I don't know all the specifics of that higher level stuff, but you know, AI can pull things from high level researchers and it has thousands and thousands of hours worth of data to pull from podcasts, university reports, astrophysicists that talk about things. So I'd say probably the weirdest thing is like large scale questions of the universe, like is time travel possible? Will wormholes one day become a thing we can harness? Is harnessing the energy of the sun possible within a 200 or 300 year lifespan? You know, things like that. Big universal questions, I suppose.
I do see. I like watching YouTube videos about that shit, where they're like, "We're a Type One civilization, but in 5 million years, we'll be a Type Three civilization. Then we can harness the energy of the sun, and we can propagate into the universe." I'm like, huh?
Oh yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm. You
Yeah.
know, I think that I forget the exact guy who coined the types of civilizations, but we are definitely type one. I know the types are type one falls under only planetary mastery. Like we have mastered Earth, you know. We're the highest level intelligent life forms on Earth. Nothing really ever challenges that. We've built cities, we've built infrastructure for them, we've built plenty of things that put us at a level above, you know, base animals. Whereas type 2 civilizations are multi planet. Um, Multi planet being like if we were to colonize Mars at some point, create a terraformed structure there, have cities there, have a living environment where, you know, we can harvest food and have animals reproduce and have cities, have like a biosphere that can provide oxygen for a city. That would be like type 2. And then type 3 is like space galaxy mastery, where we could go anywhere in our galaxy, any one of the planets that are extremely toxic or extremely dangerous to us, and just be there, visit, live on there, etc. Like, for instance, Jupiter is a gas giant. Sure, it's massive. It's 100 times bigger than. I'm not sure about that. Don't quote me on that. It's a
No,
hundred times.
Jupiter's fucking massive, bro. I know it's
Exactly.
fucking huge. I don't know how much big, but like it's fucking like it's a big boy.
But guess what? It's a gas giant. So rather than a planet like ours that has a magma core, stable layers of rock, on top of that water and land, Jupiter is all gas. But the crazy part about it is due to its mass and size with all that gas, it has such a high density in the middle that the gravity, it's suspected by astrophysicists that the gravity within, like, towards the core of Jupiter is something like 10 to 50 or 100 times that the gravity of Earth. So if we were to get to type 3 planetary civilization, we would have ships that could just, oh, fly through the gas cloud of Jupiter. and visit Jupiter and collect samples or do whatever, you know. That'd be pretty cool. I'd love to live to type 3 civilization, but I don't think that's happening in our lifetime.
That would be so. Let me ask you this, because you seem to really like galaxy and planet shit, and I do. I do too. I find it really interesting. What do you think about Elon Musk's big plan to take us to Mars? What's it like 2030 or some shit? He wants us to go to Mars.
Um, so based on my knowledge, which isn't that extensive, albeit, but I'd say it's more than the average. Um, I don't think colonization of Mars, cities, like planetary scale things is all that realistic for us in the next 100 years. I don't think it is. Only because the the possibility of terraforming Mars for our own enjoyment or necessity seems like a high level solution um, to a problem that is going to be scaled to the rich and powerful. You know, like, sure, we could have small structures or a settlement like on Mars. I don't think that's a problem. The gravity's enough. um, there's no water to be produced there, but through chemistry you can create water. Um, but I think that it's on our scale right now. By 2030, it's a relatively impossible task to have like a terraformed colony on Mars. But I do think that sure, within the next 10, 15, 20 years, we could visit, no problem. We could visit, have astronauts on there to take samples, probably. But I don't think that, like, people who've seen The Martian know, like, the character Mark Watney, like, made his own, potatoes on there and was able to survive for a longer period of time than what was packed. I don't see that as a relative possibility right now, you know? Um, in terms of like a city, we're looking at 50, 100 years out, you know? We don't have anything that can create an atmosphere like ours. That's the main crux of the problem, is that humans live in such a good atmosphere that anybody in the world can walk outside and live in breathable enough air. Whether it's polluted or not, that's up to their area. But you can live in breathable enough air. Mars doesn't have a structure like that. Like, if you go outside, no spacesuit, you will die, like, nearly instantly due to the pressure vacuum. There is no, there's no, not enough density on the planet in order to create its own atmosphere. And even if we were to just put plants and whatnot there, it doesn't mean that it has enough gravitational pull to create an atmosphere that has enough oxygen to support life. So I think that it's not a realistic thing to be looking towards the stars to fix our problems right now. I think we need to fix what's here, probably delve more into renewable energy or energy that lasts for a longer time, nuclear, wind, solar, etc., rather than um, indefinitely mining coal or fossil fuels, because eventually it will run out. You remember in the early 2000s growing up, like, everyone talked about how tree tree places, like places that have tons of trees, they get some sorts of protection. Like the Amazon rainforest. People aren't going to want to harvest the Amazon rainforest. There's you know, thousands, if not tens of thousands, of different kinds of wildlife and species that live there and breathe there and exist there in their own independent ecosystem. Um, and like the Pacific Northwest, that has lots of trees that some are protected and preserves, but everything is finite on the earth. We got to realize that everything, you know, time scale it long enough, everything is going to get harvested. Sure. So I think if we develop more into renewable resources or things that last for a really long time, like nuclear, um, I think that's the way forward for the whole of humanity, rather than, oh, let's go to Mars and make something new there. You know?
No, I couldn't agree with you more. Like, honestly, I mean, look at our oceans, you know? Like there's so like our oceans are so unexplored. It's insane. Like we know more about space than we know about our own fucking oceans, you know?
Oh yeah, exactly. Like we don't. I mean, we have sonar and radar and things that can see down towards like the bottom. And the bottom, as we know right now, is the Marianas Trench, which is, 10,000, 17,000 feet deep. We have sonar and radar that can go down there, but we don't have anything that can go and actually like explore and see what's down there. We don't know what kind of wildlife there is.
Yo, so that was the interview with my buddy Kevin. He's a really smart guy, really solid dude. He cut out a bit at the end there. He did make a valid argument, but I believe his phone died, so we're just gonna cut it there. Um, but yeah, if you enjoyed the interview, follow, like, comment, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your boss, spread, yeah, spread the news, spread the news. But that's all for today. I have been your host, Teddy Flacco, signing off.